A strangely expressive girl was feverishly scribbling numbers. Even when the teacher tried to stop her, she refused to give up. Before she could finish, the teacher forcibly interrupted her. Afterwards, the teacher placed everyone's work into a time capsule, which was then buried by a designated person during the school's founding ceremony. However, the girl looked solemn, as if she sensed something was wrong. When the teacher turned around, the girl had suddenly vanished. By evening, the teachers still couldn't find her. Later, one of the teachers opened the warehouse door and was shocked to see the girl with her hands covered in blood. She had used her fingers to complete the remaining numbers on the door latch. 50 years later, under the watchful eyes of students and teachers, the time capsule from 50 years ago was unearthed. All the children received gifts from half a century ago, except Cage's son, who received a page of numbers left by the mysterious girl. He felt disappointed and was even teased by his friends. When the boy returned home, his father, Cage, noticed the paper but didn't pay much attention, casually placing it on the table. He then poured himself a glass of water and set the cup down nearby. As he picked up the glass, the edge accidentally created a water ring on the paper. When he tried to wipe it off with a tissue, a sequence of numbers immediately caught his attention. Driven by curiosity, Cage wrote the numbers on the blackboard. After repeatedly breaking them down, he realized they corresponded to the date of the September 11th terrorist attacks in the United States. To verify his hypothesis, Cage searched the numbers online and discovered that the date matched the day of the 9/11 events, and the number of casualties also aligned perfectly. This realization sent chills down his spine because these numbers were left in 1959. How could they have predicted such a disaster 50 years in advance? To determine if it was merely a coincidence, Cage wrote all the numbers on the wall and checked each one on his computer. He found that every set of numbers corresponded to the date of a disaster, with both the timing and the number of fatalities matching exactly. He also noticed that after each date and death toll, there were additional numbers whose meanings he couldn't decipher. Seeking answers behind the numerical predictions, Cage enlisted the help of his friend who was an astronomer the next day. His friend explained the significance of the numbers and revealed that there were 3 more predicted disasters yet to occur, with the next one scheduled for the following day. According to the numbers, 81 people would perish in this impending catastrophe. However, his friend dismissed it as baseless and merely a coincidence. Cage didn't argue further and decided to pack up and leave. At home, Cage stayed glued to the television. There were no news reports about any disaster. Just then, Cage's son called, saying it was raining and he forgot his umbrella, asking his father to pick him up. As Cage was on his way to collect his son, he got stuck in rush hour traffic. Desperate to reach the school on time, he opened the navigation to find an alternate route, only to discover that all roads were completely jammed. While preparing to call his son, Cage's eyes inadvertently caught the geographic coordinates displayed on the navigation screen. The numbers looked familiar, so he pulled out the page of numbers and compared them. He immediately realized that the undeciphered numbers were actually geographic coordinates, the location of the impending disaster. To confirm his suspicion, he got out of the car and approached the area, asking a traffic officer if there had been any fatalities. The officer only mentioned that there had been a car accident and, looking terrified, hurried away. When Cage looked back, he saw a passenger plane hurtling toward the area on a collision course. This thrilling movie is titled The Mysterious Code.